Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to be looking at the week's green points, covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana as well, and Litecoin, and going over the rest of the market. If you haven't already subscribed, drop a comment and hit the bell to get your latest news in crypto. Bitcoin's trading right now in this very moment at $30,322, bouncing up and down off support, not looking very, very good, except for the fact that the moving averages are actually starting to move in. When we look just a little bit closer, it is starting to cross from underneath, which is really good. Nothing too substantial to really call it. All in all together, it is just still horrible. If we're lucky, the volume's going down, the price is kind of coming up a little bit. It looks like it will continue this way. I think it will touch back down around 28,000, honestly, if we're speaking on that. Jumping down to the lower time frame of 4 hours, it looks pretty good, actually, for the day. 30,400 at this moment, right? So doing pretty good. But if we're really looking close at it, it can change at any moment. So that's kind of giving it in. The fact that if we look in the last 4 hours, the last 8 hours, it's kind of looking a little shady. Looking good, it pumped, and it looks like it's going to kind of continue up. We'll just have to see right here. Right now, it's a battle of the ownership of power, and so we'll see that too, kind of coming in. Looking at for the weekly though, it looks like garbage, and that's what has me believing that it's going to continue to dip down lower. So if you think that we're up for the bull run, I think you're really wrong here. I think this is not going to happen anytime soon, just because this is just continuing to flail on out, crash and burn kind of type deal. So I don't really see it coming in from the weekly point of view. Still, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red candles in a row, a record, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not totally sure, but we haven't had that in a very, very long time, not in a row. So yeah, it's not too hot. So yeah, I think that's actually a record. It is. So not too much going on from Bitcoin. I think to stay around 31,000, we're in high mode of luck, but it's not going to continuing through. But that being said about Bitcoin, let's jump into Ethereum. Ethereum for the daily looks all right, not too bad. It shows again on the moving averages that it's moving up pretty good. Still kind of moving in a range type way when we're looking at the daily. The lower time frame in itself in 4 hours, I'm not going to go down much lower than that. It doesn't make sense for me at this point. It looks good. The same thing, following Bitcoin's footsteps, honestly. So usually my rule of thumb, what I like to look at it is what Bitcoin's doing, Ethereum's doing. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't that way, but that is how the cards play out typically. An exception that we have the red candle forming. So kind of coming in, that positive outlook for the 4 hours looks about the same as well. Not too much. If we jump in and take a look at the weekly, though, the weekly is kind of doing the same thing as well. Actually, it's gapping even further so than what Bitcoin is doing. That got messed up. So it looks like we're going to continue to kind of fall on out. But the good side of things, it looks like it is getting bought into a little bit. It's not dipping so much, which is pretty cool. So if we can continue in that way, maybe we can continue to kind of break above. I'm hoping. I'm really pulling for Ethereum. It's been killing me the last couple of days. We're doing like 1900, right? And all of this. If we look at the monthly calendar though to compare, it's pretty steep. Honestly, it hurts. The worst several months that we've had, the last 6 months in the history of Ethereum. So, and it looks like it's going to continue to go down as well. So I don't see any signs of it coming back up. We really need a few good weeks coming back in for Ethereum. It's just an absolute shamble in this moment for crypto. Looking at Solana, screwed on over for Solana. Solana's trading at $53.31. I like Solana too. Solana is one of those other good coins I've always been pushing to do well. But it's honestly healthy. If you really want to think about what Solana's doing, it's rather healthy. Nothing outrageous. Nothing's really going in too barbaric, right? Like no huge pumps, no huge retractions coming in, which is good, believe it or not. I mean, I know everybody loves that huge jumping candle, but it really just shows a lot of volatility. And if you compare to typical stock markets, right, like Apple and stuff, when you see that they're kind of stable, you see the same kind of patterns coming in. And this is what's cool about Solana. It also looks like it's going to start growing as well. It has a more, looking at the daily candle. If we jump to the last 4 hours as well, it's kind of the same thing. It shows the same patterns that it's starting to grow, which is a big plus. So you can kind of see somewhat of a stability given that the market's doing what it's doing. If we look for the weekly, of course the weekly is going to be garbage, right? So the same 7, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7. Yeah, it's the same 7 candles. The weekly looks like trash. Honestly, it does. It looks completely like trash, and it's kind of separating through. So can we call it like, oh yeah, I should buy into it now? Probably not. It's probably going to dip a little bit lower, but it does show hope, and that's what we're kind of looking in. So nothing like too serious coming in from there, but we'll hold on and see what Solana is going to do. But so far, it's probably one of the most optimistic coins giving the moment right now. And Litecoin. Litecoin's just crazy. This is the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Speak about that. All right, the daily Litecoin is also kind of like fixed in that movement. It's trading at 72.25. Kind of fighting back and forth, but still somewhat healthier than Bitcoin and Ethereum for the daily. That's hard for me to see because it's like so close for the moving averages. But all in all together, it's doing pretty well. This was really bad. Didn't like to see that. That was a bad day. But it continued. It fought it out. Kind of some struggle going through. But I think they was feeling that from the 19th, from earlier on that one day. If we go to the 4-hour point, right, the 4-hour point of this is actually looking pretty well too. Still bullish looking, which is great. If we go to the weekly, which we just kind of left out, but going back to the weekly, it's actually better. You know, can you imagine? It's like actually better. It's still kind of uncertain, but it really shows to the bullish side, which is really, really good for Litecoin. Monthly, of course, you guys are going to know the story is going to be trash, but still not so bad. Some fighting through coming in. It looks like it's going to continue at the rate that it's going, but we'll know in the next couple of weeks as well where it stands. Let's look at the rest of the market together, right? So while we're talking about that kind of, that whole point of being the green side of the week, right? So Bitcoin 5.50 for the weekly, Ethereum 3.47, 0.53% for the weekly, for Tether. And we have 11 for XRP, we have 11 for Cardano, we have 16% for Solana, we have 9.26 for Dogecoin, Polkadot's even coming up for the weekly at 19.25%, which is much, much better. It's only down by 1% for the day, which is really cool. AVAX is up by 3.5%. Not so strong, but you do have Shiba up. I expect Shiba, honestly, I think Shiba is going to crash before too long. It's just losing too much right now. So it's not doing good. It could pump, it could not, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think if you already missed the Shiba boat, it's already sailed and it's gone. Litecoin 11 and 20, and up by 0.66 for the day, which is cool. And what else do we have? Uniswap 2 up 14.82, which is good. A little bit red, 0.49. I mean, you're gonna see these this redness for the daily, so not too bad. And that's where we're sitting for today. So, so far, if we're looking at the weeklies, they're doing pretty good. We need a few more weeks like this to kind of at least just mellow out and give us some break for all of the stress we're going through with crypto right now. I still don't believe in Luna. I think it's dead. It's gone. I think the fork will not work, if that's what you're asking about. But it's gone. Bury it. Put a fork in it, and not like that fork. But this is just over. All right, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Drop a comment. Hit your bell.